a great day in SimWorld, everybody. Good morning and welcome to SimWorld today. I'm B Ron. Alongside me, as always, is my co-host Yells. Yells, good morning. How you doing?
It's Hump Day. I'm over. I'm
Hump
over my
day.
Tuesday blues, man. So hey, we got what? We got terrific Tuesday. We got what else? Turn up Tuesday. We got
Yeah.
something I can't say on the air starts with the T, ends with two T's and a Y. Tuesday. I'm all about that one. And hey, let's get it. But it's Hump Day today, so I'm ready. And
Yes, sir.
we got something lined up here, don't we?
Yes, sir. Yes, indeed, we do. We have a special guest joining us this morning. It's Aiden Weaver. Aiden Weaver, the number 12 recruit in the Southeast region. Aiden Weaver, formerly of Bad Boys Basketball. Good morning, young man. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
You ditching
Yeah.
school today, Aiden?
Yeah. They ripped me out of math class just a second ago to be here, but hey, I'm excited.
Hey,
Anything to get out of math class for sure.
all good. Make sure your phone's turned off at 1:30 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
I saw that.
All right.
As someone who also is not a math guy, I understand that fully. I understand that fully, my friend. Anyway, thank you for joining us. Let's go ahead. Let's jump into something that won't keep you too long.
Yeah, let's do
Um,
it.
your first season was with Bad Boys Basketball.
Mhm.
How did you enjoy that your first season in Small Prep? How was it for you?
Oh, dude, I loved it. I had a blast. I really do. I love everything about Bad Boys basketball. It's a fantastic experience to play alongside of, you know, a really good and Lorenzo Phenom who's now in Michigan, but
Yep.
it was fun. It was a learning experience. I didn't start at the beginning of the season, so I had to earn my starting role. Yeah, man, it was just a lot of fun, and it was a great way to grow for
Can you
sure.
can you tell us about? It's definitely all about you, but Lorenzo Phenom got a lot of flack last season. He had a lot of detractors. There's a lot of people that are pro
Yeah,
Phenom. What are your thoughts on him? Getting to see him day in and day out.
dude's a competitor. I've never seen a guy really work like he has to kind of get to where he's at. Um, yeah, and he's just a great dude. He's not really a locker room cancer. It's his father, if we're gonna be honest. He has a lot of other things surrounding him that have distracted him, but he's done a very good job of keeping it narrow and keeping it straight and making sure that he's doing what he needs to do day in and day out to be the player that he wants to be.
Good stuff. Thank you for that
Yeah.
insight. Thank you for that insight.
Yeah. Good stuff.
I'll
Good
ask
stuff.
B
Much
Ron if I could
appreciated.
ask another one here.
Yeah. Go ahead.
You
Go
mentioned
for it.
that you
Of course.
didn't start at the beginning of the year, but boy, when you did, we found out what you do very well, leading Bad Boys in threes, 62 hit on the season off the bench, shooting around 57%. That's NBA distance, man. Did you know all along that you could shoot like that? Was that something that you had to get across to Coach Munch Williams? Like how did you get into the starting role, and how did you know that that's your game? Have you always known?
Oh, dude, I've always known I've been a shooter. That's kind of the only thing that I really have, always been super good at was being able to shoot the three and just being able to shoot really in general. There are some things that I have to work on, but yeah, I've always been good at it. Munch coming in, I didn't really showcase as much as I needed to really show to him that I could. But during practices, I had to show out a little bit more to get that starting job that I wanted. But yeah, it just took some time. It took some time for me to adjust into the bad boy system.
Okay.
Yep.
That makes sense. Yeah, most definitely. And look, it's always good to know your skills, be confident in your skills when you get a chance to showcase them. You did just that, as y'all said earlier, which your stats there. So but all that being said, though, what was your favorite moment of your first season, last season with Bad Boy Basketball,
Favorite
if you have
moment.
one? Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna be honest. I I'm probably, as weird as it's gonna sound, I'm probably gonna say my the playoff game that we ended up losing to
Okay.
Beast of the East. I really enjoyed that game. I didn't play super well, but just being there in that atmosphere and being in the road to it was amazing. I really enjoyed it. It was an experience that I will hold close to my heart for the rest of my life. Even though we didn't come out victorious, the way that we powered through and had an okay regular season and was able to come into the playoffs and and shock in game one and then almost pull
Yeah.
up in a second upset in game two. It was a magical experience.
Yeah, you only lost that game by 1 point, and
Yeah.
so that's which is devastating, obviously. But to be in that game till the very end, I
Yeah.
can definitely see why that is a highlight of your last season for sure. Final question that I have for you this morning is, what's been the biggest lesson on or off the court that you're taking into season 2 and now being in the recruiting pool again, especially?
You kind of have to keep your ego in check, right? Because I mean, like I said, coming off the bench is no fun. Like unless you're in that mindset of I'm gonna come off the bench, it's not fun. You
Right.
don't enjoy it. So learning how to keep your ego in check and more or less just play with the team, and regardless, whatever coach thinks the team needs is what you have to do. You can't just do whatever you want. Uh,
Right.
yeah. So
I
I
mean, I
mean,
mean, I
just
mean,
kind
I mean, I mean, you can, but it's not recommended.
yeah, really just trying to fit into the team system, and chucking your ego away and just doing what the team needs and doing everything you can to win, regardless if you play well or not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, hey, and I think that'd be the story for most kids. Look, hey,
absolutely.
Hmm.
we really appreciate you being here and taking time with us this morning, Aiden. And it really sounds like you enjoyed being on the show so that you wouldn't have to be in math class. I'm gonna ask, do you have a moment to stick around with us?
Uh,
If you don't, it's fine. It's fine.
I mean, I probably got. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They give me a little bit. I got a little bit left. I
He's
could
got a
go a
little
couple
bit
more.
left. If you got
Yeah,
to
a
leave
couple
at
more
any
questions.
time,
Yeah.
let us know. B-Ron, I think I'd like to keep it. He's really, so everyone listen, really articulate kid here. I'm really enjoying the conversation we're having. We have some topics that I think kind of bleed into some stuff I definitely would like to hear Aiden's opinion on.
Okay,
And
yeah,
before we even move on to those topics, I'll kind of segue some of that because I did have one last question for you, Aiden.
Yeah.
One of Alabama's finest. Sorry, Siege, you're out on that one. We're talking Alabama's finest right now, Aiden Weaver. How did you end up at Bad Boys last season? How did you end up in Bricktown, Michigan, from Alabama?
If I'm going to be honest, I did not see myself going to Michigan or to Bad Boys in general at the very beginning. But I don't know, man. They were just kind of the only team to seem. They were really the only ones to reach out early on, and they kind of stayed with me and kept updating me and asking me how I'm doing and all this kind of stuff. And they were really just they stuck around more than other people did. And I had before this season, I didn't really showcase how good of a player that I am,
hmm
and so I didn't really have a bunch of recruiting hype. But yeah, they were one of the teams that stayed with me from the very beginning, even when I was ranked very low. They were with me, so I felt like it was only right to head up to Michigan.
Okay, you see what I did there, B-Ron? You see
yeah,
what I did there? Hang on with us here, Aiden Weaver.
yep.
Look, we're gonna talk. We'll tap into you when we need to. H Town needs to hustle. Where's that H Town hustle at? B-Ron, you know where I'm from. You know where Rick Blaze is
Yep,
from. Hey,
yep.
H Town may be the fourth largest city in the country, in the United States, but to me and Rick, it's number one. So yeah, we keep it popping, keep it on the tip of the tongue, talking about. But H Town here, the talk of the town for H Town is, man, there's a ton of recruits in the region that we're hearing about, with Texas being like one of the top recruiting pools out there,
Yeah,
along with Florida, New York, and California, which I think will always be the case just because of the size and those areas.
right.
But what we have not heard outside of Almighty Soul, I mean, what a name, right? But we
Yeah,
haven't
number
seen a
one.
whole
Yeah.
lot. But some of the names we expected to see flying off the board, we've seen flying off the board to other cities, to other teams. B Run, what's going on out in H Town? Are they missing the boat?
Look, y'all know me. Y'all know I'm normally the positive peep. That's what I do around here. But and I feel like I'm gonna have to lean that direction again, just because we could say the same thing about Showtime too.
Yeah.
You know, we haven't heard much from Showtime either. So like, is it a concern for me right now? No, it's not. Also because these are purely soft commits. I'm not concerned right now. When we get to the actual hard commit period next week, Sunday. If we don't hear anything by the end of the first day, then I'll start being concerned. Right now, I'm not too concerned about it. Personally, I'm not.
Okay, I'll throw the question over to our guest on the show, and that's kind of
Yeah.
again, you don't have to give any implications. We know how this goes
Mhm.
for you, Aiden. But to your point that you made just a moment ago about yourself, in these situations, if you are a top commit, or if you're excuse me, a top recruit in an area, or a kid that has great, you would assume to have great interest in your own area, and you don't hear from your local team earlier, how does that impact you? And it might be a loaded question because you already kind of answered, but
Uh,
just your
it
thoughts.
it it hurts. It hurts for sure. Yeah, it's just, you always want the hometown team and the teams in your region to want you because you don't want to leave home, right? You want to stay where you are. You don't want to have to travel. You want to be, you want to stay home. So I
Right.
mean, yeah, it's tough. It's really tough. And in some cases, you start out with you get teams from other regions wanting you, and then your own region's teams come in, but by then they haven't really built that kind of relationship with you, and so you don't think it's fair to the other teams to kind of. But
Entertain them, that kind of thing.
yeah, and sometimes it's just not even the better option to stay home. But
Mm.
yeah, man, I mean, it's tough. It really hurts a guy to not have your hometown team or your home region really, hone in on you and want you a part of that program.
And look, so to Bilardi's credit, to Coach Bilardi's credit, he's brought in top tier talent everywhere that he's went. Or well,
Yep.
sometimes he wasn't a part of those recruiting pools. So definitely at Gotham he did.
Mhm.
And Texas has an incredibly deep pool. And I think maybe there could be some overreaction. There could be some overreaction when we see some of the names
That's
that are
what I think
soft
it is.
commit because, as you said many times, they're soft commits. Nothing's really in stone. We don't like to put that out there, but it's not in stone. But Johan Noajovic, he's from Houston. Arthur Lattimore from Cyprus. I think that's probably about maybe 30 minutes outside of Houston. There's some names that those two guys, particularly seeing that they went other places immediately, along with some hometown people. You got Mardon, you got Dink Pate, you got Carson Cutbirth, you got Kai Killens, who's really been climbing up the boards, and we haven't heard any of those names yet. And I think that's the reaction, is that we're not hearing those guys have committed while we're hearing some other names out there. B-Ron.
Yeah. So man, it's again, it's a tough spot to be in for H-Town, but because of where we are right now, not too concerned about it. There's still plenty of time for things to solidify. And once we get to next week, like I said, if we don't hear anything in that first day, then I'll be concerned. Right now, I'm not concerned. But
Count it
what I
down.
do,
Count it down. Day one,
yeah,
B-Ron's coming with the heat after day one. Day two,
yeah,
he's
right,
going.
exactly, yeah, exactly. H-Town, y'all got to bring something on day two. If y'all don't hear nothing on day one, man, come on. Anyway, let's keep it on moving, shall we? So we have seen a few good stories so far in the off season. One of them yesterday being the possible reunion tour of the zombie squad down there in Queen City with Coach Skinny Washington, Renzo Bryant, and Carter Fields, all possibly reuniting down there with Carter Fields self committing to them yesterday morning. What, in you guys' opinion, has been the best offseason story so far? Aiden, I'll start with you.
Um, I mean, there's been a lot of good ones, but I'm probably, to be honest, I mean, I think I'm gonna have to agree. I'm gonna have to go with Queen City. I feel like
Okay.
is probably the better story because I mean, he was able to get. They're looking to reunion and bring that whole Zombie Stars team to Queen City is what it's looking like. Um, and yeah, I mean, just being able to switch teams and just still be able to pull your guys with you. I mean, that's great coaching on Skinny's part, and just him being a great person in general.
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely. Yells, what about you?
I'm gonna take a much different approach to what you're doing. If mine is not transactional so much. If I'm
Yeah.
being honest, the best offseason story was the little insight that we got on Renzo Bryant and him helping out in the community. That was big for me. Just knowing that the kid has that kind of character early on, and what he does out in the community. The story came out a little earlier. in the
Yeah,
off
yeah,
season.
agreed.
So yeah, not transactional story, but I think that was a
Right.
really feel good thing for me. If I'm talking purely off of entertainment value, I hate to say it, man. That whole outburst explosion or whatever went on with Barkley James was terrible. It was terrible for the league, the way that it went down, but also the outcome and just knowing that the league stands behind protecting its players, protecting its product, and protecting the integrity of the league and taking such swift action. I think that was an excellent story and an excellent example for the league on how to conduct yourself as young men growing into a professional setting. That this is bigger than basketball, and it's about cultivating, manhood and respect and mutual respect. So that was entertaining for me, and I think there was some good moral lesson there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I can agree with both of you from both of you guys' inputs as far as your stories go. Most definitely.
Aiden,
Uh,
you still got time
yeah.
with us, or you got to run out?
Um, I think they're gonna pull me. I'm about to go into my next period, so
All right. Well, hey, before we move on, again, thank you for being on with us,
Yes.
Aiden.
Thank you so
Best of
much.
luck to you next
yeah, of
season. We're
course.
looking forward to seeing where you and your family play. Don't move around too
Hmm.
much. You got
Hmm.
time for that, young man. But hey, that's not my call. Do what you got to do. Be Ron. Anything?
Nothing else. Thank you very much, Aiden, for joining us this morning. Really appreciate you. We look forward to having you back on soon, maybe.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. Yeah, I'd love to come back. Just let me know anytime now.
All
You
right.
I'll make it
Hey,
got it.
work.
You
See
got
if
have
I
a
it.
can
good
get
one.
into. Yeah, for sure. Y'all.
Take care. Have a good one.
B Ron. That's
Oh,
that's a that's a that's an outstanding young man. He was articulate. I like how he was able to convey all of his thoughts and all that. Excellent guest here today. This new trend, I'm really enjoying it. So,
absolutely. I love that. That was very, very fun, man. Always good to have a kid like him come on and just chat it up for a little bit with us. Let's keep moving over here though on our end, yeah?
yeah, let's do it.
Basketball without borders, man. Africa's game yesterday, we got to see it be live streamed. NBA TV did that. Thank you guys for doing that. Even though
Partnering up with
platforms,
SimWorld TV, little
yeah,
old SimWorld TV's coming
right.
along.
Look at us,
Thanks.
man. Yeah, right. Moving up in the big road, to the east side or whatever. All of this. Anyway, um, thoughts
To a
on the
deluxe
game?
apartment in the sky, B Ron?
Yeah,
Okay, I
yeah,
got you.
man.
I got you.
Thoughts on the game though? Any players impress you? What did you see that you like, didn't like, that kind of thing?
Man, I liked that the international teams are getting showcased. Again,
Yeah,
we brought it up the other day. There's a lot of times where you say the international teams don't get spotlighted, but SimWorld Prep definitely is shining a spotlight on the international play throughout a
for
season
sure.
nationally, which I think is huge. And then you have NBA TV jumping in and saying, "Hey, we're going to focus in on a particular region." And we're going to give you guys NBA TV coverage. We'll partner with SimWorld TV. So I think it's great for those regions. As far as players that I saw that stood out, the Mandela kid. So he was an absolute blur, flying by people, getting it done. Mbusu Mandela, I think he's out of, I'm not sure how to say it. He's out of South Africa, okay? LSU is already looking at him. But,
Wow.
I am not saying he is Ja Morant in character or in gameplay, but the speed and the tenacity at which he went to the rim reminded me of Ja Morant. So he stood out in a major way. Seen Al Noor showed some great ball handling. Algie Mo Osborne, 6'7", 240. He looked fluid. He was out there moving around like a guard. He showed
Yeah.
some amazing ball handling, so I don't know if any teams are looking at him. He may have put himself on a radar. I don't know that any colleges have been looking at him before. And Ethan Letterman, Kenneth Klum, showing some big time shooting and some clutch moments. So it was exciting to see what they can potentially do. I know Ethan Letterman's already agreed in verbal form, soft commit to play for Africa. Still trying to figure out where Kenneth Klum is going to play. So it's good to see them playing alongside some of their fellow national kids out there. It was a good game. Besides all of that, it was a good game.
Yeah, it was, and you kind of hit on the players that I was going to hit on as well. I really liked what I saw from. Also, I like what I saw from Henry Conti at points too. Looked really good defensively, but I feel like we already knew that though,
Yeah.
as far as him being a good defender. But just seeing that again, just as a reminder of like, oh hey, this kid's a pretty good defender. So you always need that on your team, and then obviously Ethan Letterman hit some big shots. Klum, we know he can shoot as well. Uh,
Zilberman too.
Amar, yeah,
Zilberman was
yep,
clutch
Silverman as well.
down the
Yes,
stretch.
exactly. Yeah, Silverman was clutch, and again, you always need those kinds of players on your team. That clutch gene is very important, and to show that even in the exhibition game is just huge for your stock for your team going forward because he's still with SimWorld Atlantis, as far as I know. So I think he's gonna have a bigger role for them this coming season. Looking forward to seeing how he gets on with all that anyway. Um, and then again, Amar Afua, really good performance from him, from what I saw as well. Um, it's exciting to be a fan of SimWorld Africa, I think, because they have a lot of talent in the region and just in Africa in general, in the country. So they have a chance to put together a really good team, I think.
Always do. They're always in the running. So yeah, it didn't look so great last year, but the talent is there. Just need the right pieces.
Yeah, talent's definitely there. And speaking of talent, let's get on to our final spot here because we're running low on time. Towns Romanowski, from the Indy Stripes, has committed to play for the Illinois Fighting Illini. Um, any thoughts on that? Let me jump in real quick first, though, before I hand it over to you. I like the move for him, and I feel like this is one of those things where, when you don't get a lot of play time, you find ways to showcase your skills. Just that little bit of a glimpse is enough for some people. I think that was the case for Romanowski here.
Yeah, again, the scouts are looking. I like to point out to everybody, if you listen closely to me, I'll slow down because I know I talk fast sometimes.
And me too, man. I like
SimWorld
it.
TV tries to broadcast and showcase every piece of footage that we can. But there are lots of scrimmages, lots of pickup games, lots of intra-game scrimmages, lots of opportunity where scouts are looking at what you're doing, and it just may not be seen to the entirety of the public. Towns
Yep.
Romanowski showed some things off on the court in nationally broadcast games. He showed particular skill sets. It's not all points, blocks, and rebounds, kids. Or I don't know, kids don't even count rebounds anymore unless it's a triple double. It's not all points,
Everyone
blocks,
points,
and
man.
steals, right? There's other things: setting screens, getting guys open, hustling down the court, setting your position in the post. Maestro
Yep.
talks about all these things. Y'all need shout out Dirty Shorts, shout out Talking Dirty, because he really talks about the things that scouts are looking at while you guys only see points, steals, and assists. And I think Towns Romanowski was seen when you're a big body and you can do things like what he does to get some of those other more flashier players open.
Yep.
You're willing to secure the boards and play defense and protect the rim. Guess who comes knocking? So congrats to you, Towns Romanowski. More importantly, you got a football name, kid. So it's really exciting to see you going to the Fighting Illini, and excited for it to see your future, Mr. Romanowski.
Absolutely, absolutely, very excited about that, and our producer's excited because it's time for us to go. He's like, y'all got to get out of here. It's
Tired
way
of this
over.
guy.
I know, right? Always in our ear. But I mean, look, he's doing his job, man. Look, I can see him shaking his fist at me. Let's go. Hey, thank you guys so much for joining us on SimWorld today this morning. We appreciate it. Thank you again to Aiden Weaver for
Yeah.
joining us and hanging out with us for a little bit longer this morning. We appreciate that as well. I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their day. It is Wednesday, so we'll see you guys tomorrow on Thursday for another episode. And Yells, why don't you do the outro this morning?
Hey, recruit the game, scout the game, be honest about the game, have integrity with the game, and see the game, be the game.
We'll
Have
see
a
y'all
great day.
tomorrow.